Alright guys, so I decided to make a tips and tricks video for flag battles, so yeah. Alright, so the first thing you guys need to know before even entering the game, you need to, I don't know why, but so many people just don't use item cards. I'm not sure if it's just because nobody has item cards these days, but like, just use an item card. It's an item mode. Use an item card. Also, before we start the game, it'd be a good idea to actually like learn the maps, because some of I think there are two maps, and two or three maps, and they have very distinct parts to them, including like the snowball in this map, for example. So it'd be good to learn the patterns and stuff, so you'd at least know where the flag usually spawns and what would be blocking your way. So yeah. Alright, so these are just a few general rules to go by. So first of all, when the game just begins, make sure you go for the items and not the flag. Because especially if it's a multiplayer game, or like when there are lots of people, if you go straight for the flag, you're gonna get smack banged just immediately. You're gonna get clapped by like 15 different people. So going for the flag is never a good idea. You want to collect as many items as you can in the first few seconds of the game, so you can try and fight for the flag later. Also, you also want to pick what items you want to keep, because you know you've only got a limited amount of slots for items, so you got to pick the items that you want. So first of all, when you're picking the items, you have to think, am I going to be a defensive player, or if I'm going to be an offensive player? So if you're thinking of doing a defensive small style, you want to stock up on missiles, because missiles, you can stock them up to like, I think you can stock them over like, technically at a 90. So if you're going to play defensive, collect as many missiles as you can. Just like slam yourself into all of the item boxes, because you can literally collect infinite missiles. So just get the missiles, so then you can just shoot them down. There's no amount of defense is going to stop a huge amount of missiles. And also, if you're going to play offensive, you really want a shield. Shields are like the most important thing if you're going to be an offensive player, and acceleration to help you get the flag and get the flag back to the base. Alright, so now it's time for a few more niche types of moves. So, some may be saying, hey, you're recommending we have a defensive player? Like, what? What? I've never heard of this. But if you think about it, and if you've actually watched proper matches where, like, teams of actual, like, people who play flag battle play, you notice that most of the time, they have a defensive player. And having a defensive player actually does an insane amount, especially if you've got a full team of 4, because a defensive player really can do an insane amount of work, because the ability to stock up on missiles is actually insanely overpowered. Because if you're a defensive player and say you've got 15 missiles and the other team has the flag, there is no way that they're gonna get the flag back. You just shoot them with like, there's no amount of shielding, because it's not like you can just spam shields. The only thing that could possibly stop that would be angel wings, but even then, you could just time your missiles better. So you want to stock up on missiles, and if you also want some other stuff, you can also use water balloons on straights. So shooting water balloons down straight lines is pretty good. It's pretty powerful. And also, if you want to make sure and they're kind of getting close to the base, shoot 2 missiles at a time. Don't shoot 1. Because if they use a normal shield, it will only block 1 missile. So if you shoot 2, it is basically guaranteed to hit them at least once. And also, just ram them. Ram them if you have no items. But you gotta remember, there's a little cooldown when you're trying to get the flag. So you need to hope that there's backup coming, because just ramming them isn't gonna save you.
Shining on a cloudy day, and it don't matter what you say.
Also, if you're wanting to play as an offensive player, which you want most of your team to be doing, so maybe having 1 defensive player would be good. And if you're playing as an offensive player, you always want to have some sort of shield. You need to have a shield. You don't want to have, say, like 1 magnet and 1 water balloon in your item slots, or you don't want like 1 nitro and 1, I don't know, some other item in your... You need to make sure you have at least 1 shield, because most of the time, if they're not playing with a defensive player, they'll usually only shoot things like 1 missile at you at a time. And if you can manage to dodge or stop that 1 missile, it'll probably give you enough time to get back to the base. Anyways, carrying, like, you don't need to carry really more than 1 shield, because carrying 2 shields is basically pointless. Because if they're gonna shoot you, if they have a stockpile of missiles, you're stuffed either way if you have one or two. So the best combination would be to have an accelerating item and a shield. And preferably, the best shield is Angel Wings because it has the special ability of not actually being destroyed by being hit. So they could technically shoot 400 missiles at you, but as long as they all hit you within the time of the Angel Wings, they won't activate. So you need to make sure you have at least one nitro, because as soon as one missile hits you, you want a nitro to that finish line as fast as possible. Because if you don't, they'll probably have another offensive item and you're gonna be gone. So basically, you just want to wing it. Like, as an offensive player, as soon as you get the flag, just send it for the goal. Don't try and do any fancy tricks or anything, because that's just going to give them more time to gather their resources and fire at you, or give them more time to find you and shoot you. So you want to go for that goal as soon as possible.
Cause even if the sky is falling, I'ma do it anyway.
Anyway, so if the situation looks dire and it looks like the other team's definitely gonna score, don't try and chase them. Chasing them, it's wasting your time. You wanna just go to the center of the map and wait for the flag, because if you just chase them, then there's a chance that they will get back and you have one less player in the middle to try and snake the flag at the very start. So you wanna wait at the middle if it looks like there's no way of you stopping them. Also, make sure you have a defensive player. I don't know why, I'm saying this a lot of times, but having a defensive player actually changes so much. Like, if you have a proper defensive player who's actually playing defense properly, it's really, really difficult for the other team to score. Because most of the time when I play against teams, literally all of them are playing offensive, but if you have one defensive player, one should be enough to stop, like, the entire team. And if you don't have a defensive player, and you're just trying to wing it off just shooting a missile at them randomly, most people will try and gather one shield and one accelerating item, which is pretty self-explanatory. But that means they don't have space for offensive items or like items to hit you. So that means you can just beeline for the goal, and there's a good chance that one shield will be enough for you to get to the goal. But if you have a defensive player, it is so much better. Also, you need to remember that the flag actually has a little cooldown when you remove it from a player. So don't send it for the flag straight away. It's a good idea to try and like sort of slow down or break before trying to get the flag. Otherwise you'll just phase straight through it. It's got this weird like immunity sort of thing. And also, if you can get a team, this game is probably the best game for teamwork. If you can get a team, and if you can, oh God forbid, get some voice call, you will be unstoppable. Like, if you have any amount of cooperation in this game, there's no way. Like, no nons will be able to beat you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks. I don't know, I'm making more videos soon, I guess. Make sure to subscribe because I'm almost at 400 subs, and see ya.